Symposium-Emergence.
My role as a central digital officer, chief digital officer, is to ensure that we can pick up learning from one of the advanced units and apply that in the other one, centralize certain aspects of digitalization so that we gain economies of scale. In other areas where people are not picking up, try to evangelize.
I think it's a mix of many things, and it's a pivotal role in the company for leading the company into a strategy that creates sustainable competitive advantage and creates a learning ability to cope with the change which is around in society.
In an agency, it is basically someone who leads the digital practice.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Do Big Symposium, presented by Tata Docomo Business Services and powered by CNBC TV 18. On this show, we bring you all that goes into the making of the new role, the Chief Digital Officer. It really is all about digital, whether it's personal banking, shopping, or complex business transactions. Digital technology is profoundly reshaping the way we live and do business. Well, as digital technologies continue to evolve, a new and important role is making its way to the C-suite, the Chief Digital Officer or the CDO. On this episode, we'll take you on a spectacular journey that reveals the concept, the need and the significance of the new title, the Chief Digital Officer. Increased digital needs and demands are compelling companies to create a digital agenda to enhance their growth and productivity. In order to cater to internal and external digital demands, companies are getting the transformer-in-chief on board called the Chief Digital Officer. The CDO's role is being increasingly considered by the organizations of all stripes to drive their digital transformation agenda. The responsibilities of a CDO are to devise and execute social strategies that grow brand loyalty and advocacy on social networks by determining who and where the influencers are, empowering the influencers with tools to drive the message and brand across the community, and finally, listening to the community, engaging in bi-directional dialogue with customers.
The role of a CDO is critical in really, in a sense, logically breaking down the silos of an enterprise, because the biggest challenge with digital business is that unlike traditional business where you have all of the silos, marketing does its thing, sales does its thing, production does its thing, in digital business, unless all of the silos are acting as one and in concert, digital business really doesn't come to the forefront. So in many companies, and as we've seen in Gartner's, both in our CIO survey as well as CEO survey, India is actually ahead of the global numbers in terms of numbers or percentage of companies having CDOs. The key role of the CDO is really to bring that integrative view across an organizational structure that physically is still in silos, but logically needs to work as one entity. That's one. The second role of the CDO is to take the digital assets in the company, and this is where they often need to work very closely with the CIO in the company and convert those assets or convert the outcome of those assets into strong digital business outcomes. Because too often the role of technology in the company is to almost look at technology as an end in itself, which is quite dangerous in a digital business world. So often CEOs bring in digital CDOs, Chief Digital Officers, to provide that business-centric and business outcome-centric view of the role technology plays within the enterprise. And the third key role of the CDO is essentially to be a key digital advisor to the CEO and the board in terms of, where are the revenue opportunities, where are the skill challenges, where are the ecosystem plays that the company needs to invest in, and where do you get into possibly co-optation moves where you cooperate with some of your competitors. All of those areas and putting a vision behind it is typically the role of the CDO.
India is ahead of the curve in digital strategy implementation, and a few companies have taken the plunge and have hired a Chief Digital Officer. There aren't many yet, but what's fascinating is that the list includes some of the traditional companies who adopted the digital change and have attracted digital talent. The Indian companies who currently have a CDO on board are Aviva India, DHFL Pramerica, Kotak Mahindra Bank, Aditya Birla Group Financial Services, Titan, ICICI Bank, Max Life Insurance, Whirlpool India, Birla Sun Life Insurance, Edelweiss Financial Services, CF Tyres, HT Media Group, Raymond, Trident Group, Reliance Jio, and Maxis Digital.
I think the reason that companies today have CDOs specifically is to be able to see if there's a different way of approaching a particular problem. So until unless you're a digital only company, I would believe that there are 3 or 4 problems you would have at hand. The first is that how do I make sure I have customer proximity? The second is how do I make sure that I increase my revenue? And in fact, we've had a lot of customers come back to us and tell us, I want to increase my revenue or double my revenue without doubling the sales force. The third is them coming back and saying, I want operational efficiency or cost reduction. So you need somebody who can actually think a bit differently in terms of how to approach this problem, and that's where the CDO comes in.
Well, the need to go digital is not just limited to the millennials. As we enter the digital era, traditional companies have also understood the need for implementing digital strategies and have hired digital talents. With that, it's time to take a short break, but on the other side, we will take a look at one such traditional company that is breaking stereotypes. A survey on CDOs was conducted at BIG Symposiums held across various cities to gauge how receptive the organizations are to hiring a CDO in the coming years. The survey held at Ahmedabad, Mumbai, Pune and Kochi had the following results. Do you see your organization appointing a Chief Digital Officer in the next 12 months? Ahmedabad, yes 52%, no 39%. Already have a CDO 9%. Mumbai, yes 46%, no 37%. Already have a CDO 17%. Pune, yes 48%, no 37%. Already have a CDO 16%. Kochi, yes 35%, no 50%. Already have a CDO 15%. Welcome back. You're watching BIG Symposium presented by Tata Docomo Business Services and powered by CNBC TV 18. Well, as traditional companies are breaking barriers to create a digital agenda, there is one such company that has transformed its conventional strategies into a digitally savvy one by hiring a CDO. We're talking about Raymond. From an Indian textile major to a global conglomerate, Raymond has offered its customers complete textile solutions. So when Raymond decided to go digital and expand further, they took the plunge and appointed Uma Talreja as their CDO. The Raymond Group was incorporated in 1925 and within a span of few years, it has transformed into a major global conglomerate. This 91-year-old company has evolved drastically over the years and is all set to take on the digital world. The Chief Digital Officer, Uma Talreja, has restructured the company's e-commerce relationship with leading marketplaces and created a clear growth map for brand visibility and revenues, leading to higher rankings of Raymond portfolio brands online. Under her leadership, the marketing campaigns of Raymond are now integrated digitally and the brand has significant success online and won several awards for the digital campaigns.
My key responsibility areas actually straddle a large scope across the company and cut across many functions. What's different about the CDO role and how Raymond has treated it is that it's a journey which starts with how you create digital awareness in the organization, how you lead that into digital integration in the organization and eventual digital immersion. Given that context, I handle a large scope of areas which impact businesses in many ways, where the consumer is at the center of the process. It's a new subject, and while some of the team members may understand digital activities and digital processes, some of them may understand business better but not so much digital. Some of them will understand retail, some of them will understand marketing. So a lot of time goes in outlining and streamlining briefs of what we want to achieve. There is a lot of hunger in the organization for digital from various businesses, from various functions, and every aspect of what the teams are now trying to do and build experiences around is helped through digital. There's no doubt about that. I think by 2020 to 2022, there's no need for a CDO per se. The CIO should take on that role of marrying the infrastructure requirements with innovation, right? But CDO should be something which is almost like a way of life within the organization, where everyone thinks of digital within their business and digital for their consumers.
A CDO plays an eminent role in strengthening the strategies of all departments and has the power to complement the mandates of the C-suite. Amidst all the companies that are driving their digital agenda through a CDO, there are some non-traditional companies. One such company is a leading financial services conglomerate in India called Edelweiss. Rajiv Rai has been in the industry for 20 years and has been recently appointed as the CDO of Edelweiss. He and his team's primary role is to use digital technologies as a force multiplier to grow existing businesses, enable creation of new business models, and help create competitive differentiation. This involves scanning the marketplace for new ideas, solutions, understanding the diverse needs of the businesses that are part of the Edelweiss group, and then marrying the supply and demand side to implement targeted solutions.
My role as a central digital officer, chief digital officer, is to ensure that we can pick up learning from one of the advanced units and apply that in the other one, centralize certain aspects of digitalization so that we gain economies of scale. In other areas where people are not picking up, try to evangelize. So it's a combination of all these stages. We are a nimble and a young organization, and people are looking at adopting some of these new technologies. For me here, the main challenge is being able to ensure that if we are implementing technology A in business A, then we can try and do the same across the other businesses, standardize it, derive economies of scale and common sets of procedures and methods. Each of the team is excited, they love digital and they want to do it their own way. So it's causing a bit of unevenness in our implementation. My main job is to standardize some of these stuff. Every year things change so dramatically, and what we were doing 5 years back today, it's like 50 years has passed. The way we used to do digital advertising or the way we used to develop websites, things have changed so dramatically that if I go to sleep for a couple of years and wake up, I'll not be able to recognize what is happening. So we are living in a dog years life. 7 years is a full lifetime.
Well, on that note, we'll take a short break, but when we get back, we'll take a look at a fairly young company whose entire network is based on digital strategies. Well, that's coming up after a short break. A survey on CDOs was conducted at BIG Symposiums held across various cities to gauge how receptive the organizations are to hiring a CDO in the coming years. The survey held at Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, Hyderabad and Bengaluru had the following results. Do you see your organization appointing a Chief Digital Officer in the next 12 months? Delhi, yes, 37%, no, 40%, already have a CDO, 23%. Kolkata, yes, 59%, no, 29%. Already have a CDO, 12%. Chennai, yes, 33%, no, 47%. Already have a CDO, 20%. Hyderabad, yes, 38%, no, 52%. Already have a CDO, 10%. Bengaluru, yes, 43%, no, 45%. already have a CDO, 12%. Welcome back. You're watching BIG Symposium presented by Tata Docomo Business Services and powered by CNBC TV 18. But as the world is becoming increasingly connected, how consumers behave with products, services and brands is also changing drastically. Millennials are now creating new roles for CDOs whose mandate is to work with the rest of the management team to assess the impact and make changes by adopting technology. Maxis Digital is a new age 5-year-old digital company that focuses on brand engagement and social media. Let's take a look at a day in the life of Unni Radhakrishnan, the CDO of Maxis. Unni Radhakrishnan's focus is to bring data, content and technology together to deliver effective and creative solutions for various brands. Unni's day is action-packed with strategizing and creating digital solutions for his clients and ensuring that digitizing customer touchpoints and experiences are top on priority.
So the role of a CDO in agency is slightly different from the way how it is seen in regular businesses. Because in an agency, it is basically someone who leads the digital practice. So I work with a fairly large amount, big team, like close to about 200-member team I have. And because marketing is the first discipline which significantly got impacted by digital, it is the marketing teams and the agencies who started investing on digital much early. So from an agency perspective, our role is basically to advise clients in marketing and customer service related, adoption of digital in marketing and customer service related areas. Responsibilities are largely 2 to 3. So one is working with our clients in giving digital solutions to their marketing problems. So that's the most important because that's the reason of our existence. So that is one role. Second is because in our organization there are people who are experts in digital, there are also people who are learning digital and coming up to speed. So working with them in terms of training needs, or helping them to get that skills which is required in digital planning and digital adoption. There are 2 possibilities. One is that this is a temporary phase. In the next 3 to 4 years, Chief Digital Officer could just transform or get merged into a Chief Strategy or CSO or a CIO kind of role. That is one possibility. The other possibility is that things are changing so fast, new technologies, new things keeps getting added. So therefore, this role probably might continue for a far longer time. Someone who keeps watch of what is changing new and what needs to be adopted by the organization.
So as we see in the Gartner CIO survey report of 2017, we find that Indian enterprises, 37% of Indian enterprises tell us that they have a CDO, and that compares with the global average of 24%. So Indian enterprises are obviously much more aggressive and much more focused on bringing a CDO on board into the enterprise. And if you look at the factors that's causing this, the first is the economic potential and the economic growth we are seeing in India. Remains the fastest growing economy in the world, especially amongst the major economies. The second is the fact that the level of competition in India is going up across sectors, even within India, as well as global enterprises looking at India as a key market. So Indian enterprises competing with global enterprises that are now focused on the Indian market in a big way is the second key factor. And the third factor is just India's demographic. If you look at the fact that 70% of India is under the age of 30, and that demographic has grown up in the digital world, for them often the only access to any device is on their smartphone or the mobile device. When you put all these factors together, enterprises that cannot harness the powers of digital will struggle to gain market share, to increase revenue, to increase customer loyalty, because the demographic that is their customer base increasingly lives, breathes, and plays and works in the digital space.
Chief Technology Officer will also have to adopt the role of a Chief Digital Officer. He has to be, and his team have to be very, very aware of the technology disruptions that are happening in the environment of the organization and keep the company pre-warned and pre-prepared.
CDO will help in bringing about a complete transformation in digital technologies, right from operations to sales. Everything can be transformed if the CDO has the right people and the right mandate to work.
If the enterprise is successful in that transformation, 5 years from now, you won't need such a role as a catalyst, because the entire enterprise, if they are successful, and frankly if they're still around in 5 years from now, the entire enterprise will be thinking along the lines of a digital enterprise, and will essentially, all of the senior business leaders will in some shape or form be thinking like a CDO. So to have a separate role of a CDO at that point will possibly not be needed.
Well, the tribe of CDOs is growing at a fast clip. As the digital age is scrambling the traditional organizational structures, the CDOs must not only launch their companies on a digital trajectory, but also make sure that they evolve simultaneously. Well, it seems like a Chief Digital Officer can really help smoothen the transition into a bright and a prosperous digital future. Well, that's all we have for you on the show today. Until next time, goodbye and thank you for watching.